making time.
Thank you for Dere. I hope I got it right.
Not really, but we'll work with that. I think let's start off the conversation, of course, with what's the status of our roads roads accidents in the country?
I would say this, that at least now we are experiencing a reduction a bit. If you compare with the other years, such a time we'll be crying all over and say, hey, the numbers are really up.
Right.
But I was just looking at the statistics this morning, as by the end of last month, which is August, we had recorded about 2,919 fatalities. If you compare that with last year, such a time, we were already doing at 3,000. And that has really been our highest mark sometimes.
Yeah.
That translates to about a reduction of about 8.0%. That is huge statistically.
Right.
But not good enough for us where we sit, because when you look at these numbers, I wish it was money getting lost or losing cabbages or tomatoes. But these are human beings. You know, this is life that we are talking about. So as much as we sort of have a breather right now in terms of the numbers really going a bit down, but we're still saying, hey, we need to do much more. If we can come here and talk about almost a zero, just record a zero, I think that will be something that we, as a country, we should be able to celebrate. So and this is all to a lot of spirited campaigns that have gone in. A lot of effort really has gone in. Sometimes when people look at this number, they think that we are just getting them now, but it has been a journey to this. A lot of campaigns around it, a lot of awareness campaigns has gone into it, enforcement also in it, and we are seeing this actually going down. We hope that as we close the year, we either sustain this or even go lower than last year. Because by the end of last year, I think we were over 4,000, you can imagine. 4,750 deaths. That was huge.
That's big.
Yeah, so it's a reduction.
I'm curious though, that's the numbers, that's the data, the statistics. Does it translate really to the ground?
In terms of
the reduction of the numbers,
yes.
Is it actually really like that on the ground?
Yes, it is like that on the ground. Because this information, we get it actually real time. And it's our colleagues in the police who actually get this information right at the accident scene. So this information is really picked at that time. And it is a true reflection of what is on the ground. Yeah, there could be a bit of underreporting sometimes here and there, because you miss out some data at times, particularly data on injuries. Because these are people who sometimes will end up in hospital, and follow up to get that kind of information sometimes takes a bit of time. So for you to corroborate all that and then now get perhaps a picture of really what it is, sometimes takes a bit of time. But this does not lie. These are numbers that are true out there. And they give us an indication of really what is happening for different road users, because it's affecting everybody. Pedestrians are there, border guys are there, drivers are also involved, passengers are also involved. So it really gives us a picture of what is happening in different areas. And we have done this analysis by road. We have roads that we consider really high risk in this country, and we have statistics around those roads. So all this is really a true reflection of what is happening on our roads.
You've mentioned that you work with the traffic officers and traffic police officers when it comes to the road reduction. How have they contributed to making sure that the road accidents have reduced in the country?
The two agencies, ourselves, NTSA, and the National Police Service, we are children of the same mother, that is government.
Right.
And but we play different roles. The police, their role is really enforcement and prosecution of the traffic law and other laws that are related to their mandate. How we work with them, we actually work together. As a regulator, you come up with regulations, but you need somebody else to really take up that enforcement of that regulation and even go ahead to prosecute. And that now, that role now comes in for the police. So then they take up that, they're able now to prosecute such cases. We've worked with them jointly on different enforcement initiatives. Every time we're on the road, you'll see us with the police. So theirs is to really look at this is the offense. We're able to identify that and say, yeah, now go ahead and prosecute this offense. Even times when we have not been there, they are still on the road doing the traffic controls, the checks, and the prosecuting offenses, the traffic offenses by law, because they are really mandated by law to do that. So we really work with them. And the approach of this government is really collaboration between agencies. It's a multi-agency approach. There's no time that you'll see NTSA on that road. And many times, even as we go into this December time, we will see us again on that road, but together with the police. I think that is the approach of government, that agencies can actually work together, speak together, prosecute these cases together, and all that. And many times when we are on the road, actually these days we are doing a lot of also awareness. Even as the police are doing their bit, we are supporting in terms of now creating awareness, verification of documents. So we do that quite a lot. In fact, on their side now, in terms of enforcement, we've really built their capacity also to do their work very easily. Now they can check through the app, the NTSA app, to see if this vehicle really it's well registered and licensed well, and even documentation for drivers. They can actually verify through the NTSA app, very, very easily. In terms of compliance, if this vehicle is really compliant, then they're able to verify that information through our app. So we're also empowering them to undertake that as well, including even data. The data that I said we actually get from the National Police. Now again, we are building their capacity in terms of capturing that data, digitizing the process. But you don't have to go writing an accident scene, so and so has an injury here and there. But through digitization, through technology, then they can be able to capture this information and relate to us, quite well. So we really, the relationship is so good. That
sounds very positive.
Yes.
But away from now the traffic police officers, let's talk about the users, the drivers and the passengers, the pedestrians. Are there any new regulations?
I would say yes. We've come a long way, if I may say, just to improve this sector, particularly in terms of efficiency, in terms of its effectiveness, and importantly, its safety. So a number of regulations are now being put in place. Like if you look at the driving licenses that we offer these days, unlike those days, the classes have also been changed. What we're doing is we're trying to professionalize driving. And if you look at the way now our classes have been structured, it's a graduated system that enables a driver to actually grow professionally. From class A, which is a border, you can actually rise all the way to class B, C, D, E, to that level. And so that really improves, because that also goes with training. For you to access that kind of class, then you have to go back for some training. What does that mean? That means that you are improving by day. That means that you are growing professionally. We really want to move away from this narrative, this old narrative of driving was for failures. And who failed an exam went to driving. So there are new regulations around that. There are also regulations around the driving schools. We really improved that. If you look at the driving schools now, they're a bit professional. There's even a new curriculum for that. So there are a lot of things really happening around that. The PSV sector itself, a couple of regulations to just improve how they do their business. If you look at our motor vehicle inspections, quite a lot of improvement, a lot of changes now happening. Gone are the days when you carry a whole report of inspection with you. We used to carry those papers and show the police, hey, look, I'm compliant. But things have changed now as we embrace technology. A lot of things now are really changing. We're also now working towards amending holistically our Traffic Act. This document has been there since independence. Piecemeal amendments here and there, but there are still gaps in the law. There are still lacunas in the law. And now we're actually embarking on that process. Very soon we'll be out here for public participation to see what else could be improved in this law. That today, if you are knocked on this road and you're on your headphones, many times we say the driver is in the wrong.
Yes.
But can we take this responsibility also to you? As a road user, you are a pedestrian, but you're also responsible.
Right.
Where are you unavukia wapi? I mean, where are you crossing? Are you also endangering your life? And then you just want it to be blamed to somebody else. So as we look at prosecuting a driver, yes, he has a big responsibility, yes. But then you other road users, then what happens? Where are you crossing from? How are you moving? Are you even visible? Some of us are even on phones, you know, we're texting, we're chatting and all doing all those things. And we are crossing at very high risk locations.
Right.
We've seen people even being knocked on major highways. Their own mistakes. So as we look at this law, then we want to address some of these lacunas and say, look, can we take responsibility of traffic offenses to the individuals? Can we take it to another level altogether so that we're all responsible when we're on the road?
Of course, talking about responsibility, I know that NTSA is coming up with the Dere Smart Usalama Barabarani campaign. Tell us about that.
Wow, Dere Smart, just as the word denotes, is a good driver, is a safe driver, so to speak. Now, this is a public awareness campaign on road safety. And we just began it about 3 weeks ago. We are now heading into our 4th week. We'll sustain it all the way into next year. Now, the whole idea around the Smart campaign is for us to have a conversation, a candid conversation with the road users. And particularly here, the first target was the drivers. Now, why the drivers? If you look at most incidences on our roads, which are 90% behavior related, the onus of responsibility, a lot of responsibility lies with the driver. Their choices and decisions that a driver makes. Behind that wheel, will I overlap here? It's a decision you have to make. Will I speed here? It's a decision you have to make, and a choice at the same time. I'm going to a bar to drink. Still, I have a car outside there. What choices, what decisions am I making here? Why am I going to drink and then go to drive? There's a speed limit here, say 30, 50, 100. I just do over 100. I do over 50. I do over 30. These are decisions. And we're saying, hey, look here, can we have this conversation, candid conversation with the drivers? So the decisions we make, the choices we are making are very responsible choices, are safe choices. And I'll tell you this, that in the recent past, what we are witnessing now is that accidents happen, and when you look at the driver who is behind that accident, they are seasoned drivers. Somebody was a license of 30 years, 20 years.
Yeah, why is that the case?
Years. Then you wonder, really, what? Is it a question of, I don't know how to drive? No. This guy knows how to drive. He has been on these roads for the longest. So we are saying, hey, look, there could be also other underlying issues that are behind these kind of incidences. And through Dere Smart, as we've been engaging with the drivers, so much feedback is coming through. Challenges are there. Some of the drivers are really under stress. Mental health issues are also coming up. Drivers are going to do a lot of things. Some of them have been given weird targets by their employers. Mzigo lazima ufike border by today. This guy has to drive all the way. I need to get this kind of money back if he's a PSV driver, you know, at the end of the day. So they're really under that pressure, including now other stresses of life. So as we engage and have this conversation, we want to pick out some of these issues and see how do we address them, how do we speak to each other. Changing adults, I will tell you, is not very easy. Behavior change is not a one-off thing that you can do. You need this conversation. You need every day talking to each other about it. And we are seeing very good things actually coming through Dere Smart. They are now opening up, unlike there before. You know, in the previous engagement with drivers, sometimes we've handled them in boardrooms and you know, town halls, and sometimes they don't speak out. But this engagement, one-on-one, because we go up to the bus stops, we go where they are, where they're driving from. In traffic here, you'll see us actually there, engaging with these drivers, passing certain messages to them, even giving them the flyers to just remind them that they need to be safe on our roads. And that is really the conversation around Dere Smart. But that is not to say that we are also not doing the other interventions. The campaign also will be coming along with enforcement. Currently now we are doing desktop enforcement, just checking on their speeds from the office. But moving forward now, as we even draw towards December and all that, we'll physically be coming to the road now to also do enforcement, because education and enforcement have to go together.
Right.
We advise you do this, don't do that, but we also need to
and making sure
that you are really doing the right thing.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting conversation, and I hope that will, of course, reduce the number of accidents, especially when it comes to December, when it's, you know, a season time, right?
I hope so, because December, this country, hell breaks loose. Everybody wants to
everybody wants to go back home and celebrate with the family.
But I'll tell you that we will be doing a bit of that enforcement.
Okay.
Together also with this campaign, we'll be launching another campaign in October, back to back with the Dere Smart, which is post-crash care campaign. Through this again, we want to demonstrate to Kenyans that, look here, if you don't do the right thing, you end up in a ward somewhere, in a hospital somewhere.
Right.
But also, in an incident of an accident, for example, what can you do?
What can you do?
Basic first aid also will be brought forth, and this is a campaign that is bringing on board with the Ministry of Health as well, and other service providers, St. John Ambulance, Red Cross, and everybody.
Right.
So we'll be talking to Kenyans that language of first aid. How do you respond in the event of an incident? Because that is the golden hour. That is an hour that you can save life here and there.
Of course, we'll see how that crash course you're talking about, we'll see how that goes and that education bit. But thank you so much. I think that has been a very interesting conversation. In studio, I was having Mr. Samuel Musumba, who is the Manager, Road Safety and Strategies, talking about